Hi, my name is Robin Wong. I'm a photographer based in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. In this video, I want to talk about my favorite Micro Four Thirds lenses for street photography. Let's do this! If you've been following me for a while now, you will know that I love using Micro Four Thirds system for my street photography. I simply love how small, how compact the cameras and lenses are, and yet they deliver fantastic results. Many people have asked me over the years, Robin, what is your favorite Micro Four Thirds lens that you use for street photography? Depending on situation, I may answer Olympus 25 f1.8, and yet someone will ask, but how about 45 f1.8? You use that lens a lot for your street portraits. And more recently, I said I love using the Panasonic 15 f1.7 for my wide angle composition doing my street photography. And then some people will say, but Robin, what happened to your 25 f1.8? I thought you said that was your favorite. Here's the thing, guys. I can have more than one favorite lens, and I do use more than one lens for my street photography. So to clear up any confusion, just to clarify things, here are my favorite lenses that I use for my street photography. Do bear in mind that the lenses I'm mentioning here, they are in no particular order. Number one, the Panasonic 15 f1.7. Recently, I've been doing more and more environmental portraits for my street photography. I want to include a wider composition, more background into my shot to tell a more compelling story, to add layers and context to the portrait that I am shooting. To create a truly impactful environmental portrait, I need to use a wide-angle lens. Street photographers typically would choose 28mm, and this Panasonic 15 f1.7, it gives me just that. I know it's not exactly 100% 28mm equivalent. This lens, it is 15, so it gives an equivalent of 30, but to me that's close enough, and I've been doing a lot of wide-angle portraiture using this lens. It produces excellent results, and I love that it is so small, so compact, so light. It matches any Micro Four Thirds bodies, even the smaller ones, very, very well. And the lens, it produces really sharp results, even at wide open aperture f1.7. And the fact that it has bright open aperture f1.7, it means I can use this lens for some low light shooting as well. If you want to use a wide angle lens for your street photography, I highly recommend this Panasonic 15 f1.7. Number two, Olympus 45 f1.8. In contrast to the previous lens that I mentioned, the Panasonic 15 f1.7, which was a wide-angle lens, this Olympus 45 f1.8 is a medium telephoto lens. It gives an equivalent of about 90mm in focal length. That is actually quite long, and a lot of street photographers would advise against using such a long lens for street photography. But I don't care. I do my street photography my way. I define what my my street photography is, and whenever I'm on the streets, I love approaching strangers that I don't know and have not met yet, strike out a conversation, and take a close-up portraits of those strangers. I find it very exciting. I love doing portraits of strangers, and I find that this Olympus 45 f1.8 is just the perfect lens for me to do that. The longer focal length allows me to compress the background really well. There's less background to deal with, means that I can isolate my subject from the messy background easily. Also, such a focal length, it allows me to render a more flattering looking human proportions, especially when I go really close to the strangers just to shoot the head and shoulder shots. For such a close-up shots, a long lens like the Olympus 45 f1.8 renders really beautiful portraits. And of course, that lens is so tiny, it renders beautiful, creamy, buttery smooth bokeh. It is so sharp. There's a lot to like about the Olympus 45 f1.8. Fun fact, I not only use the Olympus 45 f1.8 for my portraits of strangers or doing longer compositions for my street photography, but I also use it for my main professional work. That's my bread and butter lens that have actually kept me going for many years as a professional photographer. The shots that I've gotten from the lens when I show it to any clients over the years, they've always loved it. They've always been, wow, I can't believe these shots were taken with such a tiny lens. And finally, number 3, the Olympus 25 f1.8. This is perhaps my most frequently used Micro Four Thirds lens for my street photography. I just love a 50mm equivalent focal length for my street photography. It sits comfortably right in the middle of the Panasonic 15 and the Olympus 45. It's not exactly a wide angle lens, it's not exactly a long lens, but I can do both if I want to. If I want a wider coverage or if I want to fit more within my background, all I have to do is just move a few steps backward and I can include more within my frame. If I want that tight portrait that I usually do with the 45 f1.8 lens, I'm not saying that I can create the exact same result, but all I have to do is just step in closer and really frame that tight headshot. I can still do that with this Olympus 25 f1.8. It's the best of both worlds. It is so small, so light, it is so sharp. Image quality coming out of this lens is excellent. The bokeh is beautiful. There's just so much to love about this 25 f1.8 from Olympus. If you are a 50mm guy like myself, or like some legendary photographers out there, the father of street photography, Henri Cartier-Bresson, he shoots with 50mm exclusively, then you really should look into this Olympus 25 f1.8 if you are shooting with Micro Four Thirds system. I'm sure some people ask, hey Robin, how about the Olympus 17 f1.8? Well, number one, I don't really like the 35mm equivalent focal length. While I know it is a very popular focal length for street photographers, it's just not for me. I rather work with a wider lens like 28 or a tighter lens like the 50. I find that 35 is in the middle of nowhere. And that Olympus 17 f1.8, I still have that lens. I've been shooting with it a lot. I just don't like the lens rendering. There's something wrong with the images coming out from that lens. It's too flat. It looks uninteresting. It doesn't have that 3D pop. It just doesn't look natural to me. I just don't like images coming out from that lens. Then some will ask, hey Robin, how about the Panasonic 20 f1.7? Well, I love that the 20mm Panasonic is a pancake lens and it has bright aperture f1.7, but that lens is just so slow. The autofocus is too slow and I've missed a lot of shots using that lens, and I just don't like the image quality coming out of that lens as well. To be entirely honest, I don't see anything that's special about that Panasonic 20 f1.7. I think that lens is overrated. You can disagree with me, leave your thoughts in the comments below. And then someone will ask, how about the Panasonic 14 f2.5? Yes, that prime lens is the smallest micro four thirds lens with autofocus, and it gives a true 28mm focal length, but I just feel that there's nothing special about that lens. Yes, it is sharp, but the image quality is nowhere near what the Panasonic 15 f1.7 can do. And choosing between that lens and the Panasonic 15 f1.7, the 15 f1.7 is a no-brainer. It's a brighter aperture, it's sharper, and overall it's just a better lens. I know the list can go on and on. How about this lens? How about that lens? We have many lens choices for micro four thirds, and that is not a bad thing. Having many choices is actually a good thing for us micro four thirds shooters who do street photography. But hey, these are just my personal preferences. My opinion is subjective. You don't have to agree with me. We are all different photographers. We have different shooting styles. I'm just doing my street photography my way, and if you find it relatable to you, that's great. But hey, you know, we don't have to do everything the same, and that's the thing about photography. It is so diverse, it is so beautiful that way, and hey, we can just enjoy the photography that we do our way. That's all I have to talk about my favorite micro four thirds lenses for my street photography. The Panasonic 15 f1.7, Olympus 25 f1.8, and Olympus 45 f1.8. What are your favorite lenses for your street photography? Do share your thoughts in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. If you found my sharing beneficial, if you've enjoyed looking at my photographs, please consider buying me a cup of coffee, or you can contribute directly to my PayPal, or you can join as a member on this channel. Any support, any contribution will go a long way, will definitely encourage me to go out, shoot more, and share more with you guys here on this channel. Until the next one, please go out and take more photographs. Bye-bye!